Hello, friends. Welcome back to more trading signals for cryptocurrency. So today is the 23rd of November. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you want to keep seeing more trading signals and predictions. So we got basically a green day in all cryptos, I believe. Maybe only a couple didn't really benefited from today's movement, but you can see Solana went from, let's see, where it started the day. We're talking about nearly the highest position, nearly 3% appreciation of the price. So we got nearly 134. So it's a green day. Yesterday was also kind of, it was mostly in range, but at the very end, we got a really nice pump. So two consecutive green days, that's what we can see right now. But I believe it's not going to last, really. I mean, I really don't see a chance for the price to keep climbing up and get out of all of this mess. Right now, this is on the 10-minute chart. So if we go to 10 hours, you will see you're going to see the full picture, and you will still see that November has been a truly probably the worst month of the entire year. Not even February was this bad, because February at least was, most of the month was in range and only two major crashes. And in November we see one, two, three, nearly four very powerful crashes. And as you can see, the trend is still very bearish. Okay, I don't see any room of improvement right now. So because of this, I told you in my Twitter post some days ago that I was seeing the potential of green days around the 24 or 25. So basically tomorrow, possibly. However, because of the fact that we just saw two consecutive green days, I find it very unlikely that we're going to see even more consecutive green days in the coming, basically for the next week. Also, for the next week, I believe we will see strong corrections around the 26, 27, and possibly the very final days of the month. So maybe around the last day, maybe 29, maybe 30 of November, something like that. I do expect to see some corrections right there, because that's what the predictions are telling me, and it will make complete sense. Because, like I told you in my last video, it is my opinion that the cycle is already very much over. Okay, if we go to 1 week, which is the one that I used to measure and to find out that it was indeed the final, the end of the cycle. You can see right there. This is the week that started the collapse. In the case of Solana, we saw a powerful crash as well around the 22 of September. Remember, in that month, I also predicted that we will see very bad days around the 25. Everything came to pass. So Solana was actually in a higher position back then. So that means if I had maintained my short around those days, I would have made an incredible amount of money. But I guess that's what happens, man. I mean, I was kind of sure that we will see at least green days, very good days in November, and nothing of that sort really came to pass. So we're going to go back to the previous cycle, 21, and you will see it's the same scenario right there. In the case of Solana, we got the peak around the 15th of November in that cycle, and after that, on the weekly, it came all the way down red. So non-stop red weeks with the indicator, obviously. And you can see this is a very clear and powerful downtrend that lasted around 1, 2, 3, almost 3, 4 months. So only a recovery, or a meaningful recovery, around March of 2022. That means if we can try to predict what's going to happen with this cycle, with this top on the 6th of October, ever since then, it's all red. My indicator shows no signs of relief right now. Uh, we are on the first level, almost touching the first level of barrier power, as you can see with my indicator. If we can go higher than this, maybe I can see the end of this massive correction that has been going on since October. but it's going to be very difficult in my opinion, okay? Because December is not looking good according to my predictions, and I already failed November, so I cannot really fail consecutive months. That has never happened. And that basically means and almost guarantees that we're going to see a correction in December as well. So this position is going to go even lower. In the case of Solana, we will possibly go lower than 100 in the coming weeks. I'm not saying the next one, maybe on December. But I see the pump happening maybe in the next year because, as you can see, hold on, as you can see, when the cycle ends, you get like 2 or 3 consecutive red months, and there's a meaningful pump around the next year after the top. So I'm thinking, and I'm just saying this as a kind of as a maybe an idea because I haven't really made the predictions for the next year. I still need to wait some time in order to get that information channeled. So I believe maybe we will see the meaningful pump or the last great pump around February, March, maybe even of the next year. And after that, it's going to be downhill again. The cycle is already over, in my opinion. Okay, every single coin is already on a very powerful downtrend. Even Zcash or Zcash, whatever, it's still green, but it's coming to an end really soon. Okay, and it's going to be extremely volatile because this coin really pumped like nowhere, out of nowhere on November and October, which were the months that every single other coin were basically getting destroyed, absolutely obliterated. So again, like I told you, it is my opinion that the cycle is very much over. You will see the same pattern that I just showed you in every single coin. For example, this is Ethereum. You can see on my indicator on the weekly, it's fully red since the 22 of September. So the top for Ethereum was much earlier than October. And then we go to the previous cycle again. Look at this. The same thing that I just told you, okay? We get the end of the cycle. So the top right there on the 15th of November, we get like 2, 3 consecutive red months. So the previous cycle ended in November. This one ends in October. So look at this. There's a very powerful crash in December of the last cycle that basically correlates to this cycle's November. And after December, we get another crash on January. So that means December of this year, 2025, is going to be very, very likely another red month. And that means the position is going to get even lower. And only around March, we actually see a reversal, a pump, a very powerful pump. In this case, for Ethereum, was, yeah, we're talking about 2 digits. Yeah, look at this, a percent, almost 40% appreciation, rise of the price. So we will have to wait for the next year, for the next months, maybe in the first quarter, definitely, to actually see a meaningful pump. Okay, this position is going to go even lower. And in Ethereum, we will see possibly as low as, I don't think we'll see 2K just yet, but maybe something close to that level. Okay, so the people telling you that the bottom is in, they really don't have any idea what they're talking about because again, the cycle tells me it's over. Okay, it's very much over. This is Bitcoin, so the same pattern you can see. Actually, for Bitcoin, it was getting quite dangerous around September and August. So the cycle was already telling me something there. Again, this indicator that you're seeing right now, I just recently developed it. So if I had that tool around the last 2 months, I will have made way better decisions and way better calls. So I guess that there will be something that I'll improve on for the next cycle, or whatever. So yeah, you can see right there. Okay, the cycle ends on November 21, and you get, in the case of Bitcoin, like 2 or 3 consecutive red months. Only a meaningful recovery in March, and after that, another very powerful crash. So another 3 or 2 consecutive months, red months. So It's going to be the same scenario right there with this cycle. It's going to go lower, and it's going to go to an even well, I don't know where Bitcoin will end. Okay, possibly around 60K to 40K, something like that, in this range. Maybe that will be the lowest position of this cycle, and in preparation for the next one. But yeah, it's still very early to actually be talking about this. So again, before I end the video, like I told you, in the case of Solana only, okay, because the predictions that I'm telling you right now, they are only for Solana. It's the coin that I'm trading right now, full time trading right now. Well, it's not full time. Where any time that I actually have some disposition to actually trade, because I'm very busy doing other things. So again, as you can see, maybe 10 minutes is a little bit much. Maybe let's go for 1 hour, okay? So it's a meaningful pump, but you can see there's still a long way to go, even higher than this. And to be quite honest, I believe that we will never see Solana above this level 140, at least for the next 3 months, something like that. I really don't see that because, again, like I just told you, my predictions are telling me that there is a correction coming around the 27, 26, and that, considering that November has been extremely bad in terms of corrections, very, very bad, that means we're going to see basically a reset of the support zone and maybe even lower. Okay, this is on 1 hour. I believe if we go to 30 minutes, we are going to see more clear support levels and resistance. For example, this one is a resistance right now, so not even a breakout right now. It could possibly change, but again, to have 3 consecutive green days in November, that has never happened in the entire month. Green days are extremely rare in November, and that is why I don't really have high hopes, even though it's actually looking like a really meaningful and powerful pump right there. You can see it kind of crashed and went above, but this is not strong enough to change the entire scenario right now. So I believe at the most, at the highest, in the most extreme case, we're going to see in the case of Solana around 135 to 138. Okay, basically around this box that I just draw, this green massive green rectangle box, whatever. This is going to be the highest position that we're going to reach before the crash that will leave us even lower, and December is possibly going to be even lower. So Solana actually hitting 100 and even below is very, very possible. Maybe not as fast as I originally thought that it would happen, but it's going to eventually happen, guys. I mean, it is my opinion that is going to be the case. To see again 3 consecutive green days in November is going to be very, very unlikely. Also, because this week, in my predictions, only for Solana, it's basically telling me that it's going to be a red week. Previously, I told you that the last week was possibly going to be the best one, or at least a green week, and it was not the case. It was the best in terms of performance. At least we didn't really see massive crashes. For example, this Friday, yeah, it wasn't really as bad. I believe that week and open right here on the 17th of November. So it's not a really powerful crash. Let's try to measure this. Or we're talking at the lowest position, 14, nearly 15% loss. But if we actually track and actually see other weeks, for example, this week on the 10th of November, from the highest position to the lowest, we're talking 21%. So way too extreme for that. So this week is the best performing, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a green week. As you can see, it's not even close to being a green week. You'll have to pump around 6%, a little bit higher than this. And we only have, well, we don't really have any days left. Today is the last day of this week. So tomorrow is going to initiate the next and final week of November. and that is where I will see more powerful corrections. And these corrections will drive us back down to the support zone and eventually even lower. So that's all I have for you guys. That's all of the signals that I have to give you. If you want to stay ahead, you can always join the Telegram group. Like I told you before, it's going to be free for a time. It's mainly just the signals as they are, but eventually I'll possibly turn that into a more complex, or at least give you more good signals for other coins. I don't know. We'll have to see because like I have been saying basically the entire time, I'm very busy doing other things, sports predictions, other works with friends, and all of that stuff. So have a good day, take care, and I'll see you guys next time.